Where am I at? Oh. Sorry, AI. Okay. Says I have an AI companion. Did it start recording? Why is it not? Where did oh, yeah, it's recording now. Okay. All right. So today we're going to go over discernment and how to actually integrate it in our lives. We've been talking about boundaries, and we talked a little bit about discernment last week on like what discernment actually is. And discernment is necessary for boundaries because a lot of times people create boundaries and they're really just armored triggers. Like, don't trigger me. I'm protecting my triggers. I don't want to grow. So like you have to act a certain way around me or I'm not happy. And so those actually are more like control or walls, and that doesn't really help us out. So boundaries are made from a place of love for yourself and for others. It's that space where you can love yourself and others at the same time and stay on your purpose. Discernment is the inner world. So it's what's telling you it like this is what's in alignment with me. And I'm going to choose what's in alignment with me. Boundaries are the outer expression of your inner discernment. And so I wanted to go over boundary discernment a little bit more, and even boundaries or whatever questions you have on this. This is our question and answer section of our class. So last week we talked about it. So before we go into the worksheet, so I have a discernment integration worksheet for you guys, and I will share that in the comments with you guys. Where am I at? But I wanted to ask you guys what kind of questions you guys may have. And I'm going to send this chat in here too for you guys. So y'all have this worksheet. Sorry, AI. Okay. It says I have an AI companion. Oh, wait, what is that? Did it start recording? I don't know how to. Okay. So what kind of questions do you guys have for what y'all have heard about discernment and boundaries so far? And even if you haven't taken the class, I see you, Marie, if you're here. If you haven't taken the class yet, if you have any questions on boundaries and discernment, let's do it now. And Audrey, you mentioned something right before we started recording. Did you want to go over that again?
Yeah, it was just about me realizing that boundaries is more of a spiritual thing. Like, um, protecting yourself when you're working through something you're supposed to work through, between you and God. And it's like a butterfly, when a caterpillar turns into a butterfly, it's protected by a chrysalis while it turns into goop. And the
Yeah.
chrysalis is your boundary. And I had asked you about, what happens with soul agreements and coming into this life with other stuff and um, working through that too. So,
Yeah. Yeah, because we are an accumulation of experiences, even beyond ours, because our DNA is like a USB with all the history of us, our ancestors, and then our soul has the residue of all of our experiences. And just so y'all know, I used to be an Akashic record consultant. I still am. I just quit doing it because everybody started relying on me too much. But I was internationally known. It spread over to all over America, Canada, Mexico, Bulgaria, India. People were calling me for these readings, and I can read souls, basically. I can read your past lives. I can read what you're supposed to be doing in this life. I could see what's your holdup on why you aren't getting what you want in life, more on the soul energetic level. And it's called the Akashic Records. In the Bible, they call it the Book of Life. Every religious text talks about it. Not everyone can enter this place. You have to enter with a pure heart and you have to be sober. Some people try to enter it, and you're not allowed to enter it if you don't have a pure heart. You can't go in there trying to get lottery numbers. You can't go in there for your own personal gain. but you can learn about yourself. And then you can also, if somebody's asking you questions while you're in there, you can see theirs too. You can read theirs for them. And so it always includes some healing. And I was very accurate. So that's why it spread like wildfire. I only told two people. I was a little embarrassed about my abilities. And I didn't want anyone in Texas to know I could do it. And so they only told people outside of Texas. It was two of my friends, and people just started asking me if I could give them readings, and I just started doing it. And they were accurate, so they started telling other people, and then they started telling other people, and then it spread. I never marketed, and I never told more than those two people. I probably did over 1,000 readings in the 3 years that I did it, and I had a full-time job during that time. Um, I have learned a lot being in that area. So I've learned a lot about the metaphysical and the spiritual side. And that's something you guys didn't know about me. So I thought that would probably help for y'all to know. So I know about the past lives and I know how that intertwines. Actually, every person I see your past lives too. I see a lot about you. I see where you have congestion in your soul. I see where you probably have illness. I see these things all around you guys. I see it around everyone. It's really hard not to go up to every single person and tell them what they need to do and what to heal them, actually. So uh, I I could go more into a little bit more about me, but I won't do that right now. But if you guys want to know, it goes a little bit deeper than all of that. But um, I'm here to teach truth and help people do that. And I actually quit doing the readings because people were relying on me way too much. I had a lot of repeat readings. They liked the healing that they felt every time that they were in their records with me. I even turned people atheist into believing in God. So there was a lot of amazing experiences that happened through that. Uh, but I realized I can't be somebody that everybody goes to for the answers. So I actually started wanting to teach people on how they can access their own and how they can access these truths without having to do that and even overcomplicating it. Yes, we are intertwined to at least 2 to 3. Like most people, I see about 2 different past lives affecting your current life. I've only seen one person where 5 of them were being affected. And this isn't even past or future lives. They're all happening at the same time, guys. Are all happening at the same time. So they are somewhat intertwined. It's like if you could look at it like you got this dimension, you got another one, or it's different worlds almost in a way. I don't know how to explain it, but um, we are interdimensional beings and we do have multiple lives. So and I don't have, I mean, people can argue with me on that. I've seen it. You can't argue with me on it. And I've been so accurate with it, you can't argue. There's no argument you have with me. And so saying that, I wanted to preface that, Audra, to say, you don't have to overcomplicate the past stuff that you brought in. And it's not even past stuff, but the current stuff that you're bringing in from those lives to this life, you're all affecting it even in this current life. So if you can just focus on being present in this current life, you're affecting all the lives that are intertwined with you right now. I have about 20 that are intertwined with me right now, and I get glimpses. It'll expand and I get to see them all, and then it all comes back. But I couldn't function if I saw it all the time. And um, so with that, just know that if you're just in the present moment and you're in a place of love, peace, joy, enlightenment, authenticity, then you're already doing it the right way. And there's nothing else to worry about. It's just all an experience. And we are trying to learn as much as we can about ourselves. And as God learning about itself too at the same time. It's like we're just fractals of this bigger being. And we're getting to learn all different kinds of reflections and sides of it. Like we are not the ocean, but we're definitely drops of the ocean. And we become powerful when drops of us become waves or even tsunamis. So us coming together is very powerful. So I wanted to show you guys something with what you said. And ignore my daughter's monster face here. She drew on my board afterwards. But I'm going to see if you guys can see this. Maybe. Let's see. Well, basically this is you in the middle. These are the boundaries, the circles. Who's going to be in the pot with you? These are going to be the ones loving you and nourishing you, or you're going to choose the ones that are pissing on you. and you're not going to grow. You're not going to be able to be in your purpose, guys. You are so powerful and you have a purpose. Every single one of us have a purpose. That is something I did see in my readings. Every single person has a purpose. Do we all live up to it? Sadly, we don't. So, but if you do, this is what the world needs from you. The world needs you to surround yourself with people who nourish you, not people who piss on you. Your goal, your duties are to make sure you can stay loving yourself and other people. That's our greatest duty. And so to send people out here, and this is the pisser, he can't reach over here. You put him where he can't reach you. And this is us having boundaries so that we can still love this person. Because you know how hard it is to love somebody that's doing this to us? Sticking the knife in over and over. We can't even heal when the knife just keeps on coming in and out of us. And we do it in the duty of love. Well, I love them. They're not always so bad. You know, but you know better. You know in your soul it's not right. So here is you. You got your heart and you got your mind, and they're coming together to create a field around you. And you got your path. This path is what your happiness, your health, your abundance, and all that is, your flow. Your boundaries are what keeps you on your path. To know what this path is your discernment. Your discernment is your knowing of your own inner alignment. What's in alignment with you? It feels good because if we go to the map of consciousness, and I'll do that in a minute, but and it's all a program. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I wrote, it's all a program and we can reprogram, but we must step in power and release the force. So there's the shadow side that likes to force things. It likes to go to war, likes to fight. It likes to, and this is where people have these narcissistic tendencies come from. It's pretty much our shadow sides, and we all have it. That's why everybody has at least one or two narcissistic tendencies. Now, if somebody's completely living out of their shadow, they come off with a personality disorder. And some of them, there's so much in their shadow, and the types of shadows they don't have the ability to really grow, unfortunately. Like they'll have emotional manipulation, blame as part of their shadows, and lack of accountability. And without accountability, you can't grow. So I kind of feel sorry for those souls, but they also have their own place to play. They are here to awaken the what I call kind of like earth angels in a way. You don't ever get into a narcissistic relationship unless you are a very powerful spiritual being. And what they do is they look for you, because as long as 144,000 of us come up to the vibration of love and above, a new earth is now going to form. Heaven on earth will show up. Homeostasis will start. And this is at 144,000. Now, this is going beyond discernment. Sorry, guys. But once that happens, these evil spirits or these demonic spirits or these entities that have been created won't be allowed to be here anymore. They want to be here. And so they're fighting with all the beings that have the ability to raise up and have the higher vibration. They're coming in and fighting these people by keeping them down, calling them names, making them feel bad, making them not feel as powerful as they really are. So if you can think of it, it's a spiritual warfare going on, guys, and we don't even know it. So you've got your angels, you got your, I don't want to call them all angels, but your high vibrating beings here on earth, star seeds, whatever you want to call them, that have come here to raise the vibration of the earth. Well, guess what? You also got the narcissist, the psychopaths, the sociopaths, the cluster B disorders, which are, to me, what I have seen, demonic possessed. I've seen the demons too. There's the Joker. There's a guy with a top hat with red eyes that's tall. There's the Joker sits in the corner like kind of like a frog with a like laughing, piercing, sharp teeth, and it just loves to mess with you and make jokes at your expense or even laugh at your fear and your sadness. And then you've got the incubus and the Jezebel spirit. So narcissists also have something with sex, and that demonic force that's associated with it, it performs. It's always in a performance. And so either even in those relationships, you'll notice they'll do a lot of sex or they'll completely withdraw. And then they'll do it and they withdraw. It's like nothing's ever consistent in these relationships because they have to keep you in a state of confusion. So you cannot stay in alignment and live your purpose. You're too busy living in confusion and fog to even raise up in your vibration, and they constantly doing something to keep your vibration down. If it's the physical version of good versus evil. But I'm not saying that the ones that are being attacked by narcissists are good and the narcissists are evil, but you are having demonic forces fighting light forces and trying to keep them down, not to remember who they are. But the key is there's a bigger piece to this. The narcissist will activate what's been needed in you. If you stay with a narcissist, it won't ever happen. Your soul, your light being soul will start getting eaten away by this narcissist. And you know what? You will start getting more narcissistic yourself because this demon is going to take over whatever it can. So, um, so if you're not rising up, if you're not learning your self-love, if you're not learning your boundaries and discernment, that being will destroy you, will destroy your soul in a way. And try to put out any bit of light in there, because as long as that 144,000 doesn't reach that vibration, they can stay around. So that may have just sounded really weird, but we have to stay in our alignment. This is more important than you could even imagine. Boundaries and discernment are not just for us, but it's for everything, really. Because if you're not living in your purpose, you're not really. Oh, Dina, no, that was good stuff, not weird. Yeah, if you're not living in your purpose, I know some of the stuff that I'm saying, I'm like, I don't know if everybody's ready for this. But if you're not living in your purpose, you're hurting more than just you. Do you all remember what I told you all about my journey that I had with the shrooms? Did I tell you all about that? If you are not taking care of yourself, the state of being of all the worlds around you is affected, not just you. So this lack of alignment, this lack of boundaries, this lack of discernment hurts not just you, but it hurts the worlds that exist because you exist. And it also hurts this world because you're not raising to the vibration that you need to be raising into. This is what I'm teaching this stuff, guys. I'm teaching ancient secrets. And this is like, this has been taught by many people along the way. Even Jesus talked about this, guys. Jesus was the biggest person on law of attraction manifestation out there. If you look at everything he teaches, the ways of Jesus is more about love. Love your neighbor, love people. If they want to slap you, give them the other side of your face, slap you with. They want your coat, give them their coat. Asking you shall receive, knocking it should be open, and have faith, because faith is the magic sauce that allows all that to happen. When people say they lost faith, they lost hope. They never had faith. And so this is important because this stuff gets lost. Even like the teaching of Jesus got lost into being a Christian religion of Jesus died on our sins, it died for our sins. And like if you think about that story, why would an ever knowing all being God that can control everything have to send anybody down to die as a sacrifice for our sins? Like, couldn't God just be like, I just forgive you guys? Why would that have to happen? Like, I'm like, man, why does no one question that? that is why Jesus came down, was to die? Like, no, Jesus came to teach us the way. And even Jesus said that. He said, I am the way, I am the path. And so like a lot of this stuff gets manipulated for power and control. Like Constantine put together the Holy Bible in 325 AD with the Roman Empire, and he put a council together to create this Holy Bible. The reason why, do you all know why the Holy Bible was even created? Stop the fall of Rome. Constantine was emperor of Rome. Rome was falling. So they created the Holy Bible to create civilization, power, and control. And they did it in a way and taught it in a way where it's like you have to go through something to get savior. You have to follow this to do things. And they were trying to save Rome. Now, I'm not saying that there's not truth in the Bible. The Bible is very truthful and it has a lot of great things in it. And it was written by many men and it was found in ancient texts all over. There were many ancient texts found and they put it all together in something they call the Holy Bible. And this council decided um, which ones needed to go in the Bible and which ones didn't. Every apostle, every disciple wrote a book. There's a book for Mary Magdalene, there's a book for Judah, there's all these books. And only certain ones got into the Bible. The book of Enoch didn't get in the Bible. There's a lot of different books that didn't get in the Bible. The book of Joseph didn't get in the Bible. He talks a lot more about law of attraction actually in his books. And so they say that the council did it to make sure which ones were accurate, which ones weren't. Like if Jesus had a mustache here, but he didn't have it there, they took the book out. But so that's how the Holy Bible actually came around. It wasn't like God came down and told, everybody put this book together for me. No, stories were, given to them and they wrote it down in these little scripts and they were found in different areas, like the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that kind of stuff. And so just saying all that. And then Audra said, this is why we can't go to a world that crucified a perfect man for validation. Yeah, they were scared of him. I mean, like, and he was like at that time he was he was going against the religion. They looked at him like, "What are you doing?" And in fact, if Jesus came today, the very people who say they're Christians would probably be the same ones crucifying him. And so it's very interesting how this whole loop came around. And Jesus's name isn't Christ. He entered Christ consciousness. And that is what we have to enter as Christ consciousness. And we can't do that without having boundaries and discernment. And so, I mean, and I'm not trying to change anybody's beliefs on God, religion, Holy Bible, or anything. I read the Holy Bible. I think it's a great book. I think everybody should read it. And I think there's many other books that you should read too. And there's a lot of occult out there, a lot of secret knowledge, ancient knowledge that a lot of secret societies have kept secret because of the power it gives them of understanding how all of this goes together. But I'm giving you guys this stuff for free. Not for free, but very cheap. And so this is a lifelong kind of study. Like if you were in the Rosicrucians or part of the Freemasons, this is not something you just learn in a few months and you got it. This is something you have to integrate and understand on a cellular level, on a subconscious level. It has to be unconsciously competent in this area. And this takes years of study for this to happen. You can understand something, but do you really know it? And so that's what these secret societies do is they get together to keep on talking about this stuff until it's really understood and known and you graduate levels. And so I digress some there, but that's why you don't have to worry about what kind of past lives are you bringing in here, what kind of future lives are you bringing into this life, what kind of karma are you bringing into this life. Everything in every moment is being shown to you in that moment. So you don't have to be looking for anything. You don't even have to be looking for healing. It's more about letting go of the crap that you're holding on to and changing your mind on how you're thinking about it. So it's like more of understanding this is an experience. And do you want to keep on replaying that experience? No. Okay. Well, I understand it's in your subconscious, but we got to release that. Maybe through some movement, some dance, some crying, some emotional release. But you got to release it. You got to digest and let it go. Because too many people are emotionally constipated. And they don't understand why they're not getting the life they want. You're not allowing the energy of all that is to flow through that vessel that you have. And the things that allow you to stay in alignment, you're not following because of people pleasing or because you were told that that's not the right thing to do or whatever. And that's why we're going to go into this discernment integration worksheet. Okay. Anybody else have any other questions before we go into the discernment integration worksheet?
Yeah, I got one.
All right.
Okay, you were talking about the narcissistic person that stays in your life, but how do you not let them affect you?
You actually have to get to the point of no contact. those are the pissers. You have to put them on the back end, where you can still love them. And you know the thing about a narcissist, you can see that child that needs love in there. You know, they're not all bad, I know, because their soul is still in there. It's just being shared with like a demon. So you see both sides, and that's what's so confusing about them.
Oh yeah, and I mean this is being recorded, so I'm not going to say a whole lot on this. But like I have one person in my life, she's evil.
They do have evil moments, yes.
Oh, well, I mean, but I literally have 0 to 1% contact,
Hmm.
but she still affects me and my family, me and my daughter alike. Now my daughter has to have contact with this person, but this person won't even speak to me, and which I'm cool with, but
Hmm.
she still affects everything.
So it depends on what we allow to. So I have my ex, he's a psychopath, and all psychopaths are also narcissists.
Well, this is not my ex,
Okay.
but it's somebody close. But yeah,
Yeah. And currently he's every few months he starts a new thing. And it for a while it really bothered me. Because I was in and out of court, kidnapped my daughter. I mean, there was a lot of things that's happened. Uh and um and for a while it was really affecting me and upsetting me. And then I remembered, I was like, you know better, Mitzi. You know how all this energy stuff works. You know how this is just a game with challenges in here. And so I was like, what is this showing me? What is it that I need to know right now? And so I released and just had faith I would receive the answer. And that was that if I'm looking for peace on the outside, I have to find it here first. I have to find it in me. If I'm looking for love and support, I need to find it here. So, how could I love and support myself and bring peace? I can't keep entertaining the same thoughts I was entertaining. And in fact, I started writing down a forgiveness prayer and forgiving every day. 21 days, say that forgiveness prayer. You're going to feel a difference between you and that person. And in the morning, think of that person. I had to think of him as a baby because I have a hard time looking at his face and thinking anything nice. So, like, I had to look at it. Now I'm different, but at the time, and so I would look at him like a baby, and a baby that just needed to be loved, and I would just send love. I don't have to be up next to him giving me a hug. I'm not going to hug a snake, but I I am going to send love that way. And whenever you send love, that's the thing, the demonic forces, the evil forces, whatever you want to call them, the dark side, um, they all have their place. So they only come in when we have a break in our own aura, or we have our soul fragmented because we weren't loved and supported right, or whatever. Because a lot of these narcissists, they have, I don't know if this is just textbook, but they always have some mom who's enmeshed with them that just takes care of everything. They can't do anything wrong, don't talk anything bad about their baby boy. And it almost feels like the mom wants to have an actual intimate relationship with her son at some points where you're like, this is really weird. And this mom never allowed the son to grow, never suffer consequences. And then, but at the same time, the love wasn't consistent. If you didn't act the way she wanted you to, she would take it out, take it away, avoid, withdraw, and then she would give it right back as long as you acted like the perfect son she knew you were. And so, like, this love inconsistency for these children resulted in this place of being in shame a lot. If it wasn't shame, it was pride. So they would jump back and forth. And so this kid was raised in confusion, and it fragmented their soul, which allowed a dark force to become a part of that because it wants to be a part of us. It wants our experiences. We like act like this experience of life is a bad thing, but everything wants it. They want it so bad. Even the dead ones that are still like the entities still around. Like if the most places for possessions to happen are hospitals and bars because the soul still wants to drink. Isn't that weird? Oh, in churches. because they realized when they die, it wasn't what the church had told them it was going to be like. So they'll just stay in the church. And so if you want to know where,
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Cover those three things again.
if you want to know where most of spirits are bars, hospitals, and churches.
Okay, go a little farther.
Well, a lot of the people who go to church are self-righteous. In the Bible, it says it's really hard for the self-righteous to get into heaven. And they think that if they just ask for forgiveness, that they move on to heaven, but that's not how this works. It's a vibrational frequency. You have to rise up in love and above. Just because you went to church every day and asked for forgiveness doesn't mean that you entered that vibration and that frequency. The souls that are no longer in a body, well, when you're not in a body, and I've been able to experience this, what it's like to not be in a body. You can't taste, you can't kiss, you can't hug. You don't get the experiences anymore. And they want those experiences. They want to taste the beer. They want to hug. They want to kiss somebody. They can't anymore. You can only do that in this physical body. So we are lucky to be here right now. You're so lucky to have this body, to be able to have this experience where you can go up and you can hug somebody. You can make love. You can eat your favorite food. This is an amazing experience, guys. The stuff that we take for granted is like when you die, you want that. Like, I did it wrong. I did it wrong. I was worried about the wrong things. And it's like, let me do it again. I didn't realize what kind of a gift I was given. I thought the world was a mean, ugly place. And it was my own thoughts about it. And like before you die, how about we just figure that out first? So you can really enjoy this experience you were given. Live in the purpose that you were meant to have. Does that help?
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So now there's lots of levels to this, but that's kind of foundational there. So any other questions?
Not right now.
Okay. I'm going to go into the discernment worksheet. Did you guys see that in the chat there? I want to make sure that you guys got it. Did it go on there right?
It did, yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick so you guys can see this. And I have to say that I did not expect myself to reveal this much about myself and all this stuff because I don't want to come off weird.
Hell, Misty, we're all weird.
I know, right? This is
I mean, but
yeah, but this is where I have my own humanness. We all have our own humanness, is what I like to call it, where we have our own places of feeling shame and not wanting to reveal all parts of ourselves, not being fully authentic. And I'm teaching all this journey, but I'm going through it myself.
yeah, I mean, I get this, but you're connecting a lot of dots. And that's the thing about this live. Like I'm alive because somebody shared a 30 minutes worth of life. And if they wouldn't have, my mom would have never had a clue what the hell was going on. Uh, I mean, just like you're talking about this, about how the evil comes after. I'm a firstborn son. I mean, it's amazing how often they come after the firstborn son. There's
Well,
something.
everybody here, the reason why you guys are attracted to me, attracted to this class, is because you're part of this movement. You wouldn't be here right now if you weren't. I'm calling in. So there was I'm firstborn also, guys. Um, so isn't this funny? We're putting some things together here. But I know all of you guys have a great heart because you're here. So a few years ago, I think it was 2012, I was doing a reading, and one of my friends asked me about the archangels, and Orion had just been, and this is just in my reading, so I don't know how accurate this is. I don't even know what you would go to look this up. Maybe ChatGPT has some kind of information. I don't know. But I'm just going to tell you what my reading said. So Orion comes through, and he said, I am now an archangel. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, so why are you coming through? I didn't know they rank in different rankings at that time. I was like still learning about angels, and they definitely have different rankings. They all have different jobs. Some of them aren't even considered angels. They're the cherubs. There's so many things. Everything that's mythical is real. I'll tell you that. The fairies, all of that, the gnomes, they're all real. And the reason why it's been talked about is because they have been real, and they are. And so, but they all have their places, and they all have their roles in all of this. And some of them are more for the earth and the earth protection and humans, and then some are more on other levels to that. So this Orion was like, I'm now an archangel, and I'm here to gather all of you guys together for this movement, for the new earth, for us to rise up. And I'm connecting all of y'all. And I saw him with a rope, like trying to connect us all together so we can find each other. And this has been going on for 13 years of me doing this stuff that most people didn't know I was doing in the background, doing these readings, doing and learning all this stuff. And I've seen it happening, him putting things together. Now, I don't know if Archangel Orion is even real. That was just in my reading. It seemed very real to me. And so and now I'm gonna have to chat GPT it because now I'm curious. I brought it up again. But you know what? Do y'all mind if I chat GPT it just real quick to see if there is an Archangel Orion? I just want to say, hey, are you crazy or not? So I don't even know if chat GPT will know. Let's see. Is there an Archangel Orion? I don't even know if it would know. Oh, yeah, he didn't appear in the original stuff. What? So they know about Archangel Orion. Okay. Yeah, it's recognized in modern metaphysical and New Age spiritual circles, although he does not appear in traditional religious texts like the Bible. His presence is more aligned with channeled teachings, energy healing practices, and spiritual frameworks, including star seeds, galactic energy, and cosmic consciousness. He told me that. That's what he was doing, is putting all that together. Limitless possibilities of manifestation, expanding your ability to connect with infinite abundance and universal consciousness, clarity about your desires, especially those that solve your soul's evolution, and helping you transcend limitations, fear, and old identity patterns. Do you guys see why I'm teaching what I'm teaching? Well, this is validation for me that I'm not crazy. So expansion, infinite possibilities, cosmic alignment, manifestation mastery, starseed support, divine blueprint activation. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So people do know about him. All right, that's cool. Yeah, and so that was something too. One of my friends was like, Mitzi, you really, everything you say is so accurate. Quit being thinking that you're not speaking on truth. But I've also been around people who are narcissistic who have told me I was crazy. So whenever I was a kid, just so you guys know, I could tell when people were about to die. And I would tell my parents, you need to talk to them, you need to hang out with them, they're going to die in the next 3 days. And they would always die in the next 3 days. And then I knew when people were sick, or I would know certain things about people, or I would know things about people who had never talked to me before. And they would come up and I'd be like, your mom's going to be okay. And they'd be like, what? How did she know that? And when I was 7, I was talking about different lifetimes. And my daycare teacher actually told me, you know, we only live one life, Mitzi. Stop talking about multiple lives. And I said, you don't know why you're here? You don't remember? And her jaw just dropped and she just let me go. She was like, just get out of my room. And I'm like, you don't know what you're here for? And it freaked me out as a kid because I thought everybody could see what I see. It's all new. So I was like, why am I the only one seeing this stuff and knowing this stuff? I don't get it. Because shouldn't everybody know this stuff? Like, how is it? Do they not know what they're here for? And I always knew. And I could see it in other people. I knew why they were here too. And so I didn't understand. So it was like my parents were like, you're from the devil, you know, because of the stuff that I knew. And so it made me feel bad about my gifts. And that, but that's part of like the whole like having to go through a lot of this stuff to like come up and rise up and be like, hey, we're all powerful beings and we're all here for this purpose is to rise up and have this experience from a good place. So, okay. But oh, I've got somebody here. I think that's Dina. All right, so let's get to this worksheet. So this is the discernment integration worksheet. And this is like very foundational on the, Ava, what are you doing? So foundational for the learning discernment, which is the inner knowing of what's aligned with you, which can become the outer display of what your boundaries are to keep you in alignment. That's what it's all about, is keep you in alignment so you can love yourself and love others at the same time. So it's asking yourself and being real with yourself, is this aligned or am I avoiding something? So what's the situation? We can come up with something that's happened recently with you guys. If there's something that you're having a hard time creating a boundary around or discerning. This is a worksheet that's going to help you on determining, like, how can you decide, is this really discernment, me trying to be in alignment, or is this something else? Ava, get out of your bed. Sorry, guys. Come on. I don't know if y'all saw that. She was like, I'm just gonna get changed right here. Okay, so what's the situation? You describe what your choice is, what the situation is, interaction that you're trying to discern, and what's happening and why are you unsure? And then, like I've mentioned before, guys, there are these thoughts. Oh, thank you, baby. She just brought me some pizza. She's just a sweetheart. So we have things called thought loops, and we've talked about this in a previous class. And the thought loops are
Salamat Dalton. Salamat Shisha.
Shell text week sa texting.
So these thought loops are what you're pretty much obsessed with. So if you want to know what your thought loop is, just look at the algorithm on your social media accounts. Whatever videos keep on showing up, it's probably more than likely what you've been thinking about a lot. And and so we have algorithms in our own life too, just like social media works. What we think about over and over and over is what we're going to see more of in our lives. And so so what your thought loop is very important to understand and to know. So write out the thoughts that are looping around in your head, especially about this decision or this interaction or this choice that you're having to make. What are you afraid might happen? Because a lot of times when we're not working out of alignment, we're working from fear. So what are you telling yourself? And then here's the filtering the fear. I think this is very important to dive into, is scan your thoughts, check off any that seem to be present. So are you thinking worst case scenario? What's the worst can happen? Most people think worst case scenario, but they actually don't define it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You die or you're tortured, whatever your worst case scenario is. You know, can that happen in this scenario? More than likely, no. Okay. So what's the best that can happen? Unfortunately, you don't ever ask, most of us don't ask that question. What good can happen if I make this decision? Overthinking or spiraling. Thinking about all the stuff that could go wrong, thinking of like things that have happened in the past where you screwed up, you know, whatever it is, you're overthinking and you're spiraling. Or are you fearing judgment or rejection? Let's say you're finally done with that narcissistic relationship, and maybe there's some people that really like that person and thinks it was wrong for you to start trying to get a divorce, and you come from a family who doesn't believe in divorce, or whatever it may be. There's so many things that could go there. Or who do you think you are to teach this? Or who do you think you are to put yourself out there like this? Like people will be saying that. And of course, there's those crabs in the bucket. Those are the ones that are trying to keep you down, like I mentioned earlier. Just there's some extremes of that, and then you'll have the smaller extremes of it too. Actually, when you've dealt with the extremes, these smaller guys don't seem to bother you as much. They're just kind of laughable. So people pleasing. Are you people pleasing? Or are you going off guilt-based thoughts like, I should do this. I should, this person's going through a hard time. I should help them out. I'm going to check out the chat, guys. Oh, Dina said she knows too. Oh, you can tell too, Audrey. Yeah, see, we're all in tune there. And they were saying they can tell when people are about to die too. So what's the worst that can happen? Is it happening right now? Do you want it to happen? If it does happen, can you and God get through it together? If the answer is 4, sit with it until it is a yes. I like that, Audra. I do like that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in here for everybody, if you don't mind. So, oops. I do like that. I think I've seen that somewhere too. And then past-based pattern replay. If you've screwed up before, it's easy to come here. Be like, well, maybe I don't deserve money because I screwed up taking somebody else's money last time. So, or maybe I don't deserve a good relationship, or maybe, all men are bad and I just have to stay at home with my cats. Like it's so much happier with my cats. I laugh because a lot of people lie to themselves. And like I had a woman say that to me, and I said, okay, so let me get this straight. If you had a man that could cherish you, honor you, pay all your bills, want to do the best for you, treats you like a queen, makes you feel so loved, seen, heard, felt, and makes love to you better than you've ever had in your life, you wouldn't want that. You would just want a cat. And she was like, I mean, who wouldn't want that? And I'm like, exactly. And that's what you can have. You just cut yourself off of it from it because one other person couldn't do it for you, or 2 other people couldn't do it for you. But the thing was, you weren't doing it for yourself. You weren't allowing it. You were filling in space with the wrong people. There's only so many that can fit in your pot. Which ones are you putting in there? We only have so much time and energy to give the people that are up close to us. Which ones are we giving it to? Those top 5 people in your life, who are they? What do their lives look like? What do their bank accounts look like? What do their relationships look like? Guess what? We are energetic beings, and the closer we are to people, they do affect us. They affect our thoughts, they affect our feelings, and they affect our lives. And so we have to be very discerning on that. And some of these people will make us feel bad about the mistakes that we've made in the past. They won't ever let us move past it. Yeah, baby. Baby, I made so much food for you before this class. Eat one of the things that I made for you. I put so much food. I gave her 2 lunches, gave her strawberries, grapes, everything that I could think of. But apple slices. Okay, so go in there, baby. So go ahead and draw me a picture. And if several of these are checked, you are probably doing this out of fear or avoidance. And your clarity is not, you don't have clarity. And clarity is what allows us to have discernment and boundaries. Clarity on who we are, what is it that we're trying to stay in alignment with? All of that. So you have to get to know yourself. That's really important. Also, you have to make sure you're not lying to yourself and acting like, yeah, no, I'm discerning, and like everyone else can see you're not. And that you're just like, you're just protecting yourself through avoidance, which is never a protection. Unless you're avoiding somebody who's hurting you. That's different. So another way to really do this, like you could do all this, but the way that I like to do it, guys, is jumping into my body. Close your eyes, take the 3 deep breaths, and then just feeling into your body. Do you feel tension when it comes to this situation, when it comes to this decision? And I want you to make a decision in your head. Like you went with it, whatever it was. Or you continued to put up with it, whatever it is. And feel, how does that feel in the body? And you can even take a journal out and start journaling. How does it feel in your body? Only when you journal, do not overthink when you journal. Journaling is just start writing. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't even have to be words. It could be spirals. You just start letting the unconscious mind write for you. It's not a thinking mind that does that. It's the unconscious mind that should be journaling. So how does it feel in the body? Do you feel butterflies? Butterflies are not a good sign. That's a sign your nervous system is like on alert. Tight chest. Or does your heart feel open? Does it feel good? Now, if you're in the wrong space, like I said, the map of consciousness, guys, this map of consciousness here. If you're in the wrong space here, and you're down here in pride and below, and you haven't self-cared, trying to make discernment and boundaries are not going to work for you. You don't even see truth, remember? And whatever you do in this energy, it's going to be a boomerang effect of destructive energy. So don't be trying to make boundaries or be discerning in these areas. You can't discern in this area. Truth doesn't exist. You can only start discerning when you're in these areas. Okay. So if you're in this area, this is not the time to set boundaries. This is not the time to act. This is the time to self-care and bring yourself back up to acceptance of where you are so you can rise up quickly, is just accepting where you are, because now you're in acceptance. And then you can process what you're dealing with. So I want to touch on that too, because if you're making boundaries from the wrong space, you're only protecting yourself. And you know what? In anger, it may feel good to hit somebody, but you shouldn't do it. It's going to have a destructive energy about it. You know, so when I say you feel good when you do it, it feels good when you're thinking about it, feels good when you're doing it, and it feels good afterwards, the effects that it did for your body or for your life or whatever. So if it didn't, there was something wrong. Now, if you've got psychopathy or you got some kind of disorder, that could also be a problem. Certain things that are not good for you will feel good for you. So you do have to know where you're at. But you want to feel good. You want to feel like you have an open heart. Like it's just like, oh yes, this feels good in my whole body and soul, not just my body. What's the felt sense? Like, are you feeling anxiety, peace, push, resistance, relief? And if y'all could pick something specific that y'all want to be doing this with, I would recommend you guys do that. Is it a relationship you've thought about leaving? Is it a job opportunity you've been thinking about doing, or even a business or somebody you're dealing with? Whatever it is, you know, ask yourself these questions. And if anybody wants to bring anything up, we can go through this on how that would look too with your situation. So y'all just let me know. If your body could speak in one sentence right now, what would it say? Don't overthink it, let it come out. This is not about the thinking mind taking over and telling you these things logically what you want. You don't want to intellectualize this stuff. You want the unconscious coming out, coming to consciousness. And you do that by just allowing. And so you can't be thinking and going back to your head. You have to stay in the body in this one. And if you notice yourself going back into your head, just go back into the body. And I know that may not make sense. If you guys ever want to do a one-on-one with me, just let me know. But I can explain this more by going through it with you. But you can just keep on practicing what I'm teaching with you guys too. So feel it in the body. And then ask a better question. Instead of what should I do, try asking, what would I choose if I trusted myself? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? What would I do if I loved myself? What would I want my daughter to do if she was in my position? You know, when I first started doing this work, it was so bad. I was so disconnected from my own wants and needs. I had to think about what I wanted for my daughter instead of myself. Yeah. Sometimes we're just so disconnected from ourselves because we were taught not to think about ourselves. Don't be selfish. Don't be self-centered. I don't think we should be self-centered, but we should be selfish enough to fill our own cup so that we can be overflowing to help other people. You can't be selfless without being selfish first. But that isn't being mean to people. That's just making sure you got food on your plate too. That's making sure you're taken care of so you can take care of other people. That's taking that oxygen mask first before you put it on someone else in the airplane. You have to take care of yourself to take care of other people. Or what are you giving from an empty cup? That's resentment, and that's going to lead to resentment and bitterness. So, what feels most self-honoring? How am I? And y'all know I've mentioned this a lot. Honor yourself in every moment. That's what we should be doing with ourselves, is honoring ourselves in every moment, in everything we do. Honor yourself. If you can't honor yourself, don't expect other people to be honoring you. We meet ourselves there, and then we teach people how to treat us because we embody that. And anybody who treats you outside of that is going to feel very uncomfortable. And you want them to. Now, it's not because you want them to feel uncomfortable, but it's because you don't want them to feel comfortable dishonoring you or disrespecting you. What decision brings me peace, even if it's hard? And this is something that's not in here that I should have written. If I do this, will I still be in alignment with my purpose, with who I am? Or do I have to cut a piece of myself to be able to still do this? So, alignment versus avoidance. This is what I notice. A lot of us avoid. Well, we're not really checking in for alignment. We're just trying to avoid pain. So, feeling, so the signal is going to be like, and this is just kind of an example. It kind of looks weird how this chart came out, but feeling, the signal is a feeling, and you're going to feel panic, urgency, confusion. Confusion is a very good sign you're not in the right space. Or if you're around people who purposely confuse you, they're not good for you. Calm. So discernment. So the avoidance of fear, that's going to be the panic, the urgency, the confusion, the fear, all this kind of stuff. Discernment and alignment is going to feel like calm, clarity. Even if it's hard, you know that's what you need to do. And we all feel that way. We know, man, I really need to do this, but for some reason I'm not. I know I need to do this, but I'm not. You may even say to yourself, I need to get my shit together. Whatever it is, except for Audra. Audra will say, I need to get my stuff together. And then energy wise, you're going to feel shrinking. You're going to feel the tension in the body. You're going to feel like you've got to prove yourself or control something. And then in alignment and discernment, you're grounded, you're expanded, you're open. Like even when the beginning of this class, like when I was revealing a little more about myself than you guys had originally known, I felt a little scared, a little shrinking, like, oh, should I say this? And it was like, and it was me feeling into myself, realizing what's going on. I'm not in alignment with who I really am. I'm afraid of my own abilities. What? Like, I'm afraid of how people are going to think of me if they knew that. And it's like, how many times do we have that in our stories? We don't tell our stories because we're ashamed of a part of ourselves, or ashamed of something that we've done, or ashamed of something that we allowed. So we hold that part back. Like, people don't need to know about that. Like, and then you have people who do know about that use that against you and keep you in shame. Well, you remember that one time when you did this? You're not perfect. Like, and it's like, hey, recognize when somebody's trying to shame you, because you don't need to catch that ball. Just let that keep going. I feel like people are always throwing things at us, and we get the decision to catch it or not. We can let it go right by us. We don't have to catch it. And if you're using discernment and boundaries, you'll know which balls to catch. And then your tone, I have to, or else. Have you ever felt that? I have to do this. I have to do that. Like, and you feel this urgency of, I got to. Like, you don't. If you died, what would happen? still would go on, right? Life still goes on. You don't have to do anything. Life is still going to go on. And now I say that, but of course we have our own duties. You got to feed yourself, you got to get dressed, you got to do your things to make sure you stay alive if you want to stay alive. But instead of saying I have to pay my bills or I have to go to work or I have to do these cold calls, I get to do this. I get to pay my bills. And I'm so lucky I have the money to do it. And even if you don't have the money to do it, be delusional. I am so glad that God is always sending me money from all kinds of areas that are from places of good, known and unknown, that want to come to me and give me abundance. Because you know what? Abundance is our birthright. It is our birthright. We were told to be prosperous. Why do you think that something isn't abundant? What is the one thing that affects anything's abundance? Ava, get out of here. Quit getting dressed right there. Sorry, guys. So, the only thing that affects abundance, what is that, guys? That could be it. Yeah. It's environment. When a plant isn't growing, isn't fruiting, what's the problem? It's environment, right? If you're not growing as a person, look at your environment. The only thing that stops nature from being abundant is the environment it's in. It's being in the wrong environment. The ego has its place. And I do like that Audra, because the ego can seem to rear its ugly head in areas that it should have never been. Ego is for survival. We have to know, without the ego, we wouldn't know to get up and get dressed. We wouldn't know I wouldn't know my name is Mitzi. I wouldn't even know I was in this body. I'd still be the fabric of everything that is. And I wouldn't realize that I'm anything separate. And with our ego, it allows us to know to get up and get dressed, eat, go to sleep, all the things that we do as a human being. It's what allows us to have the human experience too. But the ego, if you guys want to know how it aligns with the subconscious mind and the conscious and what it reaps and sows. So this is something that I've seen. And do y'all mind if I say something about the ego here? Or do you want me to continue? So to me, the ego is like a farmer. So the first 7 years of your life, you had a fertile soil and people were throwing seeds at it and they were being planted. And this farmer, your ego is like, well, the seeds are here. We must be wanting these fruits. So it's tending to this garden, your mind. And it's only tending to what you've given it to tend, or what other people have given it to tend. So by the time that you start having an analytical mind developing, which is between the ages of 7 and 12, and then where you can start saying, yeah, I don't believe that. Nah, I'm not going to accept that. But until then, you're accepting everything. So by the time that you have the analytical mind, well, you have a jungle growing. You are reaping what you sowed, but you just didn't realize it was sowed, and it wasn't always you sowing it. And so what happens is a lot of us will go in and be like, I'm ripping up all these plants. I don't like this fruit. It's just been poisoned this whole time. I'm going to rip it up. And then the ego's like, wait, what are you doing? I've spent my whole life tending to those plants because you gave them to me and I thought you wanted them. And this is us not attending to our nervous system when we're just trying to make changes with and acting like the ego is a bad thing, or coming in and trying to kill the farmer. The farmer's like, hey, I didn't do anything to you. I was just here for you this whole time. And so if you go to it and you say, hey, you've done a great job, because the ego likes to hear this stuff. You've done a great job. You did what you've been meaning to do, but you know what?
This is it.
We don't need to live in survival. And the ego is there for survival. And you can be like, hey, I think you've done a great job tending to these plants, getting these fruits, making sure everything's taken care of, and I'm reaping what's been sowed, and thank you so much for doing such a great job. But I accidentally planted some poison or some poison ivy. We got to get that out of the garden. So I'm going to do this with you. And I'm going to teach you where you should be. Because you're not supposed to be everywhere in my life and controlling everything in my life. I'm supposed to be the master. So you got to tell the ego what you need it to do and where it belongs. Because it's there to help you survive. It's trying to protect you. But it's whenever it's trying to protect us from stuff that it doesn't need to protect us from, it becomes an issue. It's not in its lane anymore. And so the nervous system needs to be calm to make these changes. If you're just trying to rip plants out and say, just do this, and acting like the ego's an evil guy, Ava, baby, please quit changing. Okay. And so if the ego is over here wanting, like thinking it needs to control everything, it's going to. And if you allow it, it will, because it's just doing what you've told it to do, consciously or unconsciously. And so if you tell the ego, hey, let's replant some things. I want different plants. And you're such a great gardener. I know you're going to do a great job at making this happen too.
Did you see my crown that has a little brick?
All your crowns are up on the bookshelf. My daughter has to be a princess every day. So, and you know what? I'm going to let her. Yeah, having trouble with this. Yeah, a lot of us have a trouble with the ego. That's why we try to demonize it and act like it's a bad thing. But this whole time it's been there for us. We just let it be in lanes it should have never been in. And so whenever you tell the ego and you're comfortable, you master it in a place of love, from a place of love, not resistance. Then you can tell it, this is what I need instead. And then I'll be like, oh, thanks for telling me. And not just ripping up the garden that I've worked so hard for. Because it's going to fight for it. Because it's worked hard for that. And it thought it was doing something good for you based on what it was being told to do. So it's just being able to guide it where it needs to be. Because it has its own role. Don't try to kill the farmer. Just make sure it stays in the farm it's supposed to. Stay in the lanes it's supposed to. Also, so this alignment versus avoidance, future vibe, regret, anxiety, messiness. Like have you ever noticed, even when I'm having some problems with my own alignment, parts of my house will get dirty. Do you have one section of your house that's always dirty? Do you ever notice that? Yeah. That corresponds to our own chakras and our own places in our mind that also is cluttered. Cleanliness is next to godliness. It is more about our vessel being clean, but the outside world is a reflection of that. My table. Yeah. My desk in my room. I just keep on putting my clothes on it because, like, after I put up all my stuff in my drawers and I have to hang up stuff, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wear that later on this week. I'll just put it on that chair. Why hang it up? But it's also like, why make my bed? Or I'm just gonna be in there again tonight. And I make my bed every morning. So it's just like a way of thinking. I'm just lazy and I hate hanging up clothes. So like, and it's just like, okay, well then like, how can I see it differently? I could change my thought pattern instead of just accepting that thought pattern. I can be like, I really love a clean space. And I love that my clothes are in an area that I don't have to sift through 20 clothes to figure out where my dress is. I could just see it hanging up. You know, I could shift around and do that.
Find my crown.
Okay, baby, go and play, okay? And we had this talk before the class. No, go ahead and find a different crown.
I can't find it. I need to find the right one. I need it. It's kind of ripped in the middle and it's shiny.
Okay, well, I'll help you after this call, okay?
It's white.
She's got a heart tattoo that she just gave herself to. She's so freaking cute. You have like 5 crowns.
Can't find one.
Oh, they're in that brown box on the bookshelf. Grab a chair and grab that. You'll see it. So with the future stuff, you can feel regret. I'll just go back into this. But with the future vibe, this whole alignment and avoidance quick check thing. So future vibe, you'll feel regret, anxiety, messiness. You'll see messiness in your life. And then and that's okay. Don't be hard on yourselves, guys, where you're not perfect. None of us are perfect. It's coming to a grace and acceptance with yourself and be like, you know what? I'm a work in progress and this is a journey and I'm on this journey called life and I'm having this experience and I'm going to I'm going to have as much fun as I can. I'm going to have joy. I'm going to live from a place of love and joy and peace. And along the way, I'm finding out where I don't have that and I'm going to fix it as I can, but I'm not going to try to take it all on at once. I'm going to be easy on myself because how can I be in peace and joy when I'm freaking out about the messes? Oh, I've got to clean this. I got to clean my garage. I got to organize this area. Man, it's showing that all these areas that I'm messy in my life is coming out and I'm seeing it. No, it's okay. Be easy on yourself. Be like, you know what? This weekend I'm going to clean the garage. I get to clean the garage. I actually have some free time. I'm gonna bust some music, bust some moves, and like have some fun. Maybe invite some friends over, cook them a meal. They can help me out too. You can come up with, we're a community. We're supposed to be a community type people, a tribal being. You don't have to do it all yourself. You can have people help you, love and support you along the way. And you know what? That what makes us really feel connection is when other people ask us for help. It's not offering other people help. It's whenever you say to somebody, hey, could I get your help with this? People are like, yeah, what can I help you with? What do you need? And like, if they're not like that, why are they in your clothes? Why are they in your pot?
There.
Okay, baby, just play with something else. Okay. And guys, can y'all give me just 1 second? I'll be right. I'm gonna pause. And if you guys need to take a bathroom break or anything, perfect timing. I'll be back in about 2 minutes. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys a minute. So, um, so you want to choose everything from a place of clarity. And sometimes, when I've told y'all that everything shows up in the moment, that the present moment will show you what you need to do next. It could be as simple as asking God, like, what do I need to do next? What do you need from me? And you may get the message, clean your bathroom, clean your garage, organize this. And you may be like, no, I don't want to do that. Besides that, I need to focus on work. Like what what else? What else do you have me to do? And I'd be like, okay, then clean out your garage, or whatever, something. And it's like, no, I mean like work wise. Like don't argue with that voice. Be like, okay, clean the garage. So whatever you're looking for may actually be there. You'll be cleaning the garage and you may find a business card that you needed the whole time to do something and you just forgot all about it. You clean the garage, that business card files out, and you're like, oh my God, this whole time I forgot to call this person. This person's been wanting to give me $100,000 or whatever. So trust the guidance. You may not understand it because you can't see it all, but you're being guided by something that can. So, what's your next aligned step? It doesn't have to be perfect, just clear. Usually we fight it. The next step. It's not hard enough. That's too easy. No, it's got to be more difficult, or maybe even it can be difficult. Maybe it's difficult because of the way you're thinking about it. Like, oh, I need to leave this relationship. It's not good for me. It's unhealthy for me. But it's not that easy because now you got to put all this stuff together. You may actually have to have somebody who's going to attack you the whole way, abuse you, so it depends, but just be clear. And once you get that clarity, it's not a question of do I need to do this or not anymore. You're going to be like, I have to do this. This is for me to be my highest self, to be my best version for everybody around me. And I have to do this because my purpose is way too important to allow anyone or anything else to stand in that way. And all of these obstacles that came along the way, anyways, were initiating you more into your purpose by developing the characteristic traits that you needed to get to that purpose. So it's not like any of it was really bad. Yes, it could have felt bad. Yes, we could have processed it like it was something bad, but it was all happening for us, through us, as us in a way. And so if you didn't have good boundaries, you didn't have good discernment, you may have attracted a narcissist. You may have attracted somebody like this. And that's where you have to be very careful because that's where you're going to be like, well, there must be something bad about these people. No, what isn't it in yourself that happened? Why was that able to happen? Oh, it's because I didn't allow all of the energy that is just keep flowing through me. And I just kept on holding on to these other traumatic experiences. And I guess I allowed something to come in to show me where I've got like a break in my own aura or a break in my own way of thinking where I'm committing sin or error in thinking. And this is being brought to me so it could be revealed. So all this stuff is being brought to us to reveal different parts that need to be worked on or need to be developed. And then, and this is just optional, but what did you learn about yourself through this process? So this is basically jumping through the discernment worksheet. I personally like dropping into my body and doing a journaling and asking how I feel. Now, women and men are different, guys, so you have to know what works for you. Men tend to be more on the logical, physical, 3D side, while women are more on the metaphysical, woo-woo side, the intuitive and all that. So it depends on whatever works for you. You do that. And it may just be asking these kind of questions or instead. So you just figure out what works for you. Now, with everything that's been said, does anyone have any questions or have anything that you guys would like to add?
Just when you were talking about the plants, I was talking with another small group on Saturday, and I don't know if you can see this, but this is a lemon balm plant that I got in Nurses Week,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't look like this. The edges of the leaves are brown. There's a lot less leaves on it. There's cat hair on it because my cat likes to rub up against it. And it's kind of like dying. And I was looking at this thing going, I better take it to a gardener. He can tell me what to do for it. And as it turns out, it needs a bigger container. It needs new soil. It needs fertilizer. I'm a nurse. I'm not a botanist. I don't know these things, but my own lack of awareness was killing this plant. And I'm like, what if that's a reflection of me too? Maybe it's time I need a bigger container. What in my life has to change that allows me to grow and expand? And that's a scary place to be because what if it's some of my relationships that need to change too? you know,
Oh, I know.
it's a lot to think about and take in. And it's like, I want to grow, but at the same time, I like the safety of the container, but my roots are bound, you know?
Mhm. Well, you're not a tree. So
No, no.
you can move yourself into a different container, and that is as above, so below. So if you want to learn, just go out in nature and you'll just see so many answers to your questions. But even you looking at that plant, you got this awareness of like it's our lack of awareness that can sometimes that hurts us and can even hurt other people. And it could be something very simple, like the plant just needs some nutrition, a bigger plant, a bigger pot, and some soil. So it's like, okay, well, what if that's all we need to? Like you said, what if I need to move to the bigger pot? And that's a good awareness right there. And yeah, whenever you are, well, something I noticed on my journey is there have been times that I've had to release people, and it wasn't just like me releasing them, but saying, okay, I'm ready, God, what else do you want from me? What else? What do you need from me? And quit trying to be the one in control, like get the message. And like people will just start disappearing out of and I'll say, whoever's not meant to be in my life, please remove them gently. And I always ask for gentleness now. I used to ask, hey, show me this. And it would be shown to me. I'm like, gently next time, please. I don't need it that harsh. I get it. So I always ask gently, remove these people from my life, but it still hurts when it happens. And we feel like there's some kind of loss, like a grief going on. And, as you keep on working on this stuff, you realize that it's just like everything just is showing up when it needs to and going when it needs to. And it's okay. It's like playing a video game and then the characters in the game getting upset and crying because somebody died in the game when we're all out here playing the game together. We're gonna be like, hey, I'll get in the next game with you, okay? It's like, all right, so we overthink it. We make it too complicated. But I really love that analogy that you just brought up, Audra. Thank you so much for sharing that with the plant. Anything else, guys?
Hello, Missy. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. How are you?
Good, good, good. So I have a quick question, and it's regarding this. But last time, and you've talked about the different frequencies, right? That
Mhm.
the low frequency and the high frequency, and the frequency is gonna not gonna come down. Like if for example, the happiness or is at 600, what the chart that you had showed so many times,
Mhm.
right? So the frequency is not going to come down. We have to go to the frequency,
Yeah,
correct? So
yeah.
how you go, like if you are feeling low and you know you are in problem, you have in trouble, and you see that is the grass is green on the other side and there is hope and everything, right? But how you go to that frequency, because that's how it's going to attract. Because if I am on low frequency all the time, that this bill's coming in, I don't have enough money in the account, this is happening. So I'm on the low frequency. So how I bring myself up to that frequency of 400, 500, 600?
First, while you're down here, you have to come to acceptance.
Yes, I have
To come to
accepted that.
acceptance where you are. So
Yeah.
acceptance is different than apathy. That's where you
Hmm.
have hopelessness. But as long as you have acceptance, now you've reached a frequency that's actually higher than where you
Right.
were. And then you can process that. And then from there, it takes a little delusional
Okay.
ideas of that the money's coming in. And
Hmm.
it's not really delusional if you really have true faith in it.
Right.
But it may feel delusional at
Hmm.
first when you start doing
Hmm.
it. So be like, start setting something. I would put post-it notes on your mirror in your bathroom
Okay.
because you'll see that every morning when you wake up, and then
Uh-huh.
throughout the day. And then put, I've made six figures, or I've
Hmm.
made $1 million in 2025, and put
Hmm.
it in past tense or current tense, not
Hmm.
I will.
Future.
Yeah,
Right.
don't do any future.
Right.
Uh, and so put that in there and come up with some things that you want. So what is your problem? Like lack of money. Okay, so what's going to
Hmm.
solve it? Having more. And it's like,
Hmm.
okay, so or changing your thought patterns around the money, because money exists here, it goes away here. And so it's like, okay, so you can't lie about your energy. So you have to make sure that you are staying in acceptance, or at least in these areas. And then being like, okay, I am, and feel into it. So whenever you're like, I made $2.4 million this year, and feel into it, how would that feel if that happened? That's how you bring the frequency to you, is by thinking of it as already happened and feel into it as much as you can throughout the day. Like, you already have your needs met. Your needs are
Right.
more than that.
Mhm.
And it comes in so many areas, in so many ways, known and unknown, and they're all good. No
Mhm.
harm had to happen. It's all comes from a good space, and it's coming to you because that was meant for you. It was your birthright, and you're stepping into it, and you're saying, "Yes, I am ready. I am here for it, and I'm going to feel into it so I can match it." So it's just thinking about what
Okay.
you want and feeling into that feeling.
So because that was my dilemma always, is go up to the frequency. So now I'm going to repeat myself to understand. So first step is the acceptance, right?
Mhm.
That you are in trouble. Then you, for example, if it's the finance side of it, then you have to feel that you have received that money, you already have that money, right? Or that you already made that money
Mhm.
in either past tense or present tense.
I like to put it in past tense.
Okay.
Yeah, I've made this, I've done
Okay.
this, and then I feel
Okay.
what it feels like to be in that.
Okay.
And then the next step that I forgot to mention, and then the inspired action will come up. You'll have moments that
Okay.
you'll feel like you need to talk to someone, or that you
Mm-hmm.
need to clean your garage or whatever. And you can even
Mm-hmm.
ask God for more of these, like, hey, show me the way. What do I need to do now for this? And
Mm-hmm.
and you can even have that as an affirmation that you are always shown the way, and the way
Mm-hmm.
always reveals itself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so grateful that the way always
Mm-hmm.
reveals itself so easily for you. And
Right.
then you have these inspired actions that come up. So you have to make sure you're staying in that discernment of,
Mm-hmm.
is this in alignment with me? And so when that
Mm-hmm.
inspired action shows up, you'll take it instead of fight it, and try to
Okay.
stay with your old ways.
Okay. So, but how I will, so that I have will have a feeling or something that I should be doing this. So for example, I do have a retail business, right? As a jewelry store. I
Mhm.
want to go into the real estate side of it. Like I've mentioned you earlier before also that I need help from you on that side. And
Mhm.
then I do insurance. So then, but then sometimes I'm thinking I'm chasing too many rabbits, right? And I'm not focusing on one. So how will I know which one to focus on? Like close my eyes and just feel it, or like how will that scenario would be?
Okay. So what's the number one thing bothering you?
It's just I know I have the ways of making money. It can be made. It's coming. God had, so I know I deserve it. It's just to align myself, like what we were talking today, is how is it aligned with my purpose? What is
Yeah.
my purpose, right? So
Mhm.
how will I figure that out? Like what is aligned to generate income? Like, I'm
So,
thinking I'm chasing too many rabbits.
and you probably are. That can create confusion and lack of
Yes.
clarity. And I know what that's like because I do that too. So I understand. That is like looking at your plate, write everything down, and then feel
Mm,
into each one of them. How does it feel when you think about that particular thing? Does it feel like the thing
mm.
that you're supposed to be doing, or does it feel like something you need to release?
Okay.
And so feel into that. And so Ryan just asked me to say the order again, so I'll do that here too. So you're going to set an intention, what it is that you want. I've made $2.4 million this year or something like that. Or I've lost 20 pounds or whatever. And then I want you to, when you're reading it, I want you to feel into it like it's already happened. It's already a part of you. It already is. Even if it doesn't look like that, it already is. And then the next step that'll happen is inspired actions will show up. You'll get guidance, like talk to that person, and it feel like it'll feel like little subtle things. And you can even
Okay.
ask God, I need it to be like a huge sign. I don't get subtle. Can you just show me a like a really big sign?
Mhm.
of what I should be doing. And you can even ask for specific signs like, if this is the way I'm supposed to be going, can you show me a peacock today?
Okay.
And like it'll be like, okay, and you'll see a peacock and you're like, okay, so that's the way I'm supposed to be going. And so like
Okay.
you can ask for that guidance, but you will get inspired action.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Mhm. You're welcome. And if you guys want, we could do like a manifestation section after this
That,
boundaries and discernment, where we can go
yeah, that
into
would be awesome.
how to put this together so you can actually start creating the life and shining your real powers, and that knowing that this physical world is just a manifestation of our own thoughts. It's all mental.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, then once we get that fixed, then it should be projecting out what we want.
I think
Um,
that would be good.
yeah. So I'll start on that one next after this is discernment, because everything is mental, and it's the hermetic philosophies and laws of the universe. It's the parameters we live in. And
True.
that I mentioned earlier in this class, the parameters that we came here, and also the limitations and the gifts of this body and this character that we were given as well, and understanding the how it all comes together.
Okay.
But
Perfect.
any other
Thank you.
questions?
I
Yeah.
think that's it. And any update on the real estate side of it?
On what do you mean?
The school that you said you're going to start something on the school for the coaching for the real estate for the.
Oh yeah, no, I've actually been talking to some people about helping me put this together because I have a lot on my plate too.
Okay.
And so they were saying that they can help me do my video edits and all that because I have a lot of videos. And so I'm working on
Okay.
getting some people in place to help me get that so I could get the course and I'm only going to charge like so much because it's all going to be recorded on that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then yeah, so I'll let you know once I have that up and running. And I may just do another group coaching class for my real estate because I've been having people coming to me asking me for that. So I may just do like one more actual group coaching for another 8 weeks just so that I can
Oh,
get
so
this.
you had done one? I didn't know. When did you did it?
Well, I do them like twice a year, the group
Okay.
coaching. Hmm.
I didn't. Okay.
And I do one-on-one, but I take 5 at a time.
Okay.
Uh, so right now I just have 2 one-on-one clients, so I could take more on, but I just decided not to really advertise that. But I could take on another one, but that starts out at 15 to 25K, and then the group coaching is the 7,500.
Right. Okay.
It's more affordable if that's what you want. But the one-on-one is 6 months while the group coaching is 8 weeks.
Got it.
But yeah, would you
Yeah,
be interested in something like that?
yes. We need to talk on that.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you for letting me serve you. You guys have a great day. And